Hey guys, Emily here, and welcome back to another speed build renovation. So today I'm renovating none other than Crick Cabana. I feel like for most Sims players, this house is pretty infamous. It's one of the cheapest houses when you first open the game, so I feel like a lot of people end up using it as a starter home. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to keep the budget of this house down to a starter home, even though I wanted to. I can't remember the exact price that the house comes out to. I don't think it's too far off the mark. Of course, you could go in and delete a couple of the items. There is a computer in this house, and it's definitely one of the more pricey computers, so deleting that may create more of a budget-friendly home. However, I wanted to add to the outside of this house. I don't love the houses in Willow Creek that are just straight houses. I understand the concept of them, although they kind of look like trailers to me and they don't have much decoration to the outside, so I wanted to add some of the bump outs to give this house a little more dimension and a little more of an interesting look. I also added a back porch to this house that connected to the sidewalk beside of it. I thought that was fitting since there is fishing poles beside it, and also the tree that goes to the glades, I believe it's called. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and I had a lot of fun renovating this house in general. I've personally played in this house a lot, so I wanted to give it a little more character. There was a family I had in mind while creating this house, so the house is more fit to their style. Of course, you can do whatever you would like with a house, and as always, I would love to see anything that anyone is able to do with any of the houses that I renovate. However, for this house, I had in mind that two brothers live here. I don't have much of a backstory for the brothers, although one of them is a young adult and one of them's a teen. So one of the rooms in the house, is more geared towards a teenager, and one of them is more geared towards an adult. I will probably be posting them to the channel, and I will definitely have them on my gallery page, the brothers that I created for the house, and I really had a lot of fun with it. I think that the house really suits them and that the furniture is fitting for who they are. So yeah, one of the rooms is made for kind of a painter. So the older brother is a painter, and I wanted to fit a painting easel in there. So there is a skill building item in this house. There's also a microphone, which is another skill building item that I thought was kind of fun because one of the brothers wants to be a comedy star. Anyway, so going into the build, I'm working on the kitchen here. I really despise those cheap counters, so even though I wanted to keep the price down, I went ahead and went with a more expensive counter because I liked how it looked better. I had a little bit of trouble laying out this kitchen and being able to fit everything into it, but I think in the end it turns out looking okay. I actually have some dead space in this room. I cut out that side of the kitchen because I want to be able to create more of an enclosed feel to the kitchen. Of course, with this house, I was trying to stay a little more base game. If I would have been using all of the packs, a perfect place for a closet would be in that little space there, that 2x space. However, I wanted to keep it kind of to the base game. I do use some items from Laundry Day because I wanted to put laundry in this house. Of course, for any players without Laundry Day, it is very easy to go ahead and get rid of that and replace it with something else. But I thought it was fitting for this house. I like having laundry rooms in my house. That's kind of a controversial thing. I feel like some people really enjoy playing with laundry and some people don't. But personally, I like my game to have a little bit of realism, so I wanted to add that in here. I cut out my first edition of this dining room because I didn't really like how bold the colors were. I wanted a blue scheme for this house, but not necessarily that blue. So I ended up going with a lighter rug and putting a couple of these chairs around. Something I like doing is adding like an extra chair off to the side, and I think that just adds some more realism to the build, showing that maybe that chair was meant to go on one of the ends and they moved it to have more space, or maybe it's a chair for when company comes over. Who knows? So right now I'm putting in some tile into the kitchen. It's something I like to do, kind of not to the entire kitchen because I feel like it's a little too much. I'm kind of on the fence about these bright blue tiles that I used, although I think they are fitting. They're a little bold for the house. And so right now I'm just coloring up the spaces. I'm using the Move Objects cheat here, so if you go into your game and you press Control, Shift, and C, and then type in BB Move Objects, you're able to kind of move objects around, and I think that it kind of adds to the build to be able to place things. I think having this little condiment station on top of this microwave is so cute, and I like putting little spoons beside the stoves and paper towels beside the sinks. It just adds to the build for me. Yeah, so now moving on to the living room. The living room is a little bit run down, to be honest. The mat that I use here is one of the toddler mats, I believe. It's like the puzzle piece one, but I thought it was fitting for the brothers that maybe they just moved into this house and this is kind of some starter furniture that they have. Of course, like I said, there is a more expensive computer, but I thought that both of these brothers would not go without a more expensive computer since one of them is a geek and the other one does enjoy video games himself, so I wanted to include a more expensive computer in this house. I also put some posters around the house. I think that they kind of symbolize more of the younger vibe of the two brothers, if that makes sense. I didn't really want to put in too expensive of paintings because I wouldn't believe that either of them were really into that or into finding expensive paintings like that. But yeah, and so I do actually fit a chimney into this house. There is a kind of bump out on the outside of the house that is meant to resemble what a chimney would be, so I end up getting to add a fireplace, and I'm really glad that I did. I think it would be really cool, especially if you have seasons. I know that Father Winter, I believe his name is, appears from the chimneys, so I really wanted to put that there. Unfortunately, now that I think about it, there's really no place to put a tree in this house. I suppose you could probably put the computer and desk into your inventory and put a tree there. I don't know. It all depends on playstyle and if someone even played with the winter seasons. I don't really know. So now I'm kind of decorating around the house. I added some mats to the front and the back porch of the house. One thing about the back porch is I really wish I would have been able to put a roof on there, but I couldn't think of a way to do it that wouldn't look strange with the rest of the roof structures. So I didn't. I know plenty of houses that don't have roofing over some of the porches, so I just left it that way. And right now I'm working on the younger brother's room. He is a joke star, or he wants to become a comedian, so he's a goofball, so I ended up putting a microphone in here for him to be able to practice that, as well as a little teddy bear. I thought it was cute. Maybe it's one that he's had since he was a child, or a teddy bear that he particularly cherishes. I don't know. And so here you're seeing me. I'm about to add this microphone in there. I really wish I would have put a little more decor in this room, but like I said before, I couldn't imagine either of the brothers going shopping necessarily for artwork or paintings, except of course for the brother that does paint, although I think he would be more into creating his own paintings, if that makes sense. So it might be cool to play this family and kind of have him create some paintings to put around the house. And here I am working on this bedroom. I end up moving that dresser later on. In fact, the room changes a lot before I upload it to the gallery. I had trouble with placing a door out into the back porch, and I didn't think it made sense to put it in the bathroom, so I wanted to put it off of his room, and I couldn't do that with where the dresser was. I was totally neglecting it here, but later, the final version of this house, the dresser that I put in between those two doors, between the bathroom and the outside, doesn't allow Sims to walk past it. So I had to change that, unfortunately. And here I am just clearing up the space. I really was looking for paint cans. Unfortunately, they are a part of a different pack, so I wasn't able to put paint cans on top of this little side table, so I just leave it to some books. Perhaps they're like painting books or color theory books. I'm not really sure. And here I am. I really overused those curtains in this house, but I thought they fit. In my mind, they were kind of like paper curtains. Maybe they're cheaper curtains that the brothers decided just to use to block out the sunlight. I added only a tub to this house. I've really got into using tubs in my family's and my Sims houses, and I never did before. I've always thought that it took so long for Sims to take a bath instead of a shower, but there is some tubs that have a nice hygiene buff to them, so it doesn't really take that super long. Of course, if you download this house and would rather have a shower there, it would be easy to replace it and put a shower in instead. And now I'm about to move on to the outside, I believe. Oh, no, here I am. I'm putting in this, the door to the outside. There's actually a lot of doors in this room. I just now noticed. I think it's okay, but personally, it would have been nicer if I could have laid out the floor plan to have a hallway moving to the back of the house, but it wasn't possible. I did cut the floor plan out of this video. I don't show it. It did take me a little while to kind of get it situated, and that's pretty true with most smaller builds. So here I am about to just clutter up the outside. I do end up adding this window to add some depth to the bathroom, and I do have to move that mirror, unfortunately. So next I'm just adding a seating place for the outside. I add the same seating bench to the front of the house as well. I thought it just matched the house. It was kind of a cheaper object so it wouldn't run up the price of the house too much, and I didn't want to create too big of a space. I do add a chess table to the front. I don't know if the brothers would personally use it, but I kind of like doing that with my houses. And here I am, I'm just going to fix the terrain paint as well as add some trees to the back of the house. But other than that, that's about it for this build. If you liked it, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe. And of course, if you have any criticism on the build, feel free to leave it below. One thing from the last video is the audio was terribly off, so I hope that it's a little better in this video. And other than that, have a great day.